Hey guys, welcome to another video on Bharat and Germany. In this video, I have Alina with me, my wife, and because she has a wedding planning agency, she also takes a look at how are the wedding procedures in different kind of countries, including Germany. So here we wanted to discuss about the wedding process for foreigners who want to get married in Germany. What are the complications? What are the options?
I didn't just look at the process, we actually experienced it when we were trying to get married. I went to the local marriage office in Germany and I asked for the documents because if there's any foreigner involved in the process, then they are writing on the website that you have to go personally and get the information. And what I got was a list with so many documents. And for Germans, like for two Germans getting married to each other, it's a lot simpler. There are like only a few documents required. But the moment there's one foreign party involved or two, it gets very complicated and also it's very time consuming. So because they are saying to get the information personally, I don't really have a list, but I do know from experience what they were asking there. So let's start what they require from two Germans, because maybe some Indians, they got German citizens and then they want to get married, then of course it will be easier. But I still think because you guys are naturalized Germans, then they will ask for a birth certificate and all these things. And the moment they ask for birth certificate, it usually gets complicated for Indians.
The main reason behind it is because like many of the birth certificates that we have in India, like they're written either by hand or by typewriter. Like I was born in 95 and my birth certificate was on a typewriter with some corrections, like my mother's name written and then like, a cut and then like rewritten again with the perfect correct spelling. The same with me. I didn't have my surname in the birth certificate. All of these things were complicating stuff because then my surname does not exist in my birth certificate. In my passport and stuff, I have my surname. So how do you fix all of that?
And I was reading on some like forums. I also remember this from when we tried to get married, that they required the birth certificate to be less than 6 months. So they want you to get the original document, but it cannot be less than 6 months. Also, basically, you're supposed to get a new birth certificate. And many times, because I also know this from the Indian consulate work times, that Indians were saying that, yeah, it's not possible for us to get a new original birth certificate. I don't know. Do you have any experience with that?
I mean, I think like it must be like more difficult because I know that like when and you go to the Indian authorities, you ask them for a document and they say like, we don't provide the document and no matter what you do, they're not going to do it for you. And like I think it's just like, more difficult. Of course, like maybe you have a very old certificate, you want it to be in the more, let's say, paper form, like in a proper digital form or something, then they might help you out with that. But generally most of the times they do not want to give you another like birth certificate or something.
Yeah, but I would say let's go down now the documents which are required for two German nationals, and then I move over to what they say about like foreign couples. So as two Germans, you will need your ID or your passport. Then you will need so your city registration you will need. That can't be more than 6 months old.
But I think they also wrote vollständig beglaubigte. That means you also have to go get it notarized.
That is so stupid.
Yeah.
Because you're getting it from the German
You
government.
get it from the German government, but you go to the notary, you get it notarized, and then like this
I
is.
just don't understand this stupidity.
And these costs add up. Like like let's say now the German government on the website is written 88 euros to 122 euros, but like when you have
for Germans it's 53 euros.
Yeah, like when you have the notarized copies, when you have when you have to go and like ask for additional documents or something, when you have to get translations, all of these things, like they just like keep on piling up, and along with the delay that comes with it.
Your city registration has to be legalized, which I find very stupid. But anyways, if you are a foreigner, then they do mention here that definitely you will need your Aufenthaltsbescheinigung. You will need your erweiterte Meldebescheinigung mit Angaben des Familienstandes.
This is your extended city registration. In this, like they also mention what is your family status. Yeah, so if you're single, if you're married, if you're divorced, what's the story?
But that is again for like German nationals. Wenn nicht vor der Geburt an Deutsch, you will need this natural.
Exactly. So this is the same story that I told like many people about my friends with whom I was working in during my times at WTM Engineers. So there was like two friends who were like German Russian. So that means like they were Germans who moved to Russia like a few hundred years back, and then afterwards Germany had this like new thing where they were bringing everybody who was German back to Germany. So they were essentially having Russian citizenship when they came to Germany, but they got naturalized very quickly because essentially they were from German descent.
Yeah.
But just because of this, they had to like go through, I think, 6 months of just like pure paperwork back and forth, getting attestations done from the Russian
Yeah.
authorities, then from the German authorities, and so on. So as soon as you have received German citizenship and you were like not German citizen from the birth, again, all of these like extra complications add up.
And then, of course, if you have been divorced previously, you will need your neue Urkunde mit Scheidungsvermerk. So that is again very complicated. You need a marriage certificate, but in the marriage certificate, it needs to be mentioned that you are divorced now, and that has to be a new certificate. So
Yeah.
again, that it will be complicated.
And from new, like they always every single time mean like not older than 6 months.
Then you need your Scheidungsurteil, which is from the court.
So your divorce decree.
And then you need, if the spouse passed away, then of course you need the death certificate. Yeah, and then if you guys have children together, then again there will be additional documents. You will need to give the birth certificates of the kids, then the Vaterschaftsanerkennung, paternity, what is it called? Like paternity
paternity
proof.
acknowledgement.
Yeah, something like that. And
Whatever
then
that means.
Sorgeerklärung, that you have custody of the child. So that's basically it. The costs are 53.50, and then they are already mentioning that if you have any certificates which needs to be legalized, notarized, which of course you have, then there will be additional costs for that. And then going to Anmeldung zur Eheschließung mit ausländischen Beteiligung. That me, and they are mentioning here that you have to go personally there.
Yes, mit ausländischer Beteiligung means with foreign partners or something.
Yeah. And then they are saying it costs 88,222, and then there will be a lot of legalization, translation cost on top of that.
And the main reason that we are like kind of sharing this is that because of course for the Germans they have a very standardized procedure they have mentioned on the website, but now you see like already that they have mentioned it very clearly that if you are a foreigner or like if you're a German and you're marrying a foreigner or something, then you have to actually personally go and you have to explain them your situation, and then they're going to give you the list of documents that you have to arrange.
Which is huge.
Yeah, and now in that you essentially have always some kind of translation costs if you are having your certificates in the regional languages. Then you have the legalization costs, and then afterwards, of course, you have to get married, and you have to then not just count the delay of every single time any document is translated, but you also have to count the delay of getting the appointment from the moment you submit those documents, then from that moment till you finally get the appointment for getting married.
So usually when you apply, it takes multiple months to get the approval, and then again, because it depends of course on the city you live in, but let's say Hamburg, it can take up to 6 months to get the appointment to getting married. So sometimes the marriage process can take 9 months, more than that, less than that, a little bit maybe. So, and this is not supposed to be like a shameless promotion of my services, but I do want to also speak from our personal experience that when I went to the marriage office and I saw that list of documents, I first of all knew this will take forever to organize, to get all the documents legalized and then attested, and then of course his documents will be from India, so that makes it so much more complicated. And then I already told him that I don't think Germany is a good option for us to get married. And then we
also saw in India. In India, like if you want to get the civil court marriage, you essentially have to stay in the country for 30 days. And both partners have to be in the country for 30 days. And it was like, with all the work and the university and everything, like all of this couldn't have happened. So like we dropped the idea right away. Then for the registration and stuff, like sometimes we were hearing from our friends that if they were like they married a foreign partner, like they're asking for like some convenience fee, which is written over. So it's essentially a bribe that you have to pay of up to like 80,000 Indian rupees just because you're marrying somebody who is not from India. So these kind of like, stupid things happen in India. So I personally think if you have a foreigner partner, like I don't think you should get married in India, at least legally at all.
But that actually happened to us, we went because I told him I'm not gonna come for the marriage unless we have figured out all the paperwork. So we went multiple times to the authorities to ask, and every time somehow they were adding new papers to the list, and
Yeah.
like it was
we
always
went to the lawyers, we went to the district court, we went everywhere where we could, but
because I'm German, I need everything organized. So we went multiple times. Every time there were different answers. And then in the end, somebody told us, if you wanted to get done fast and stuff, you can pay us 1,000
Exactly.
rupees, but we cannot promise anything.
not 1,000 rupees,
Sorry.
80,000 rupees.
Sorry,
So 1,000 euros.
1,000 euros. And I was telling Bart, this is not an option.
I was like, in 1,000 euros, like we can easily like, get married in Denmark without
Yeah.
any kind of hassle whatsoever.
Coming up with a solution. This is not for two German nationals. This is, for example, one German, one foreign, or two foreigners wanting to get married in EU. Denmark is the easiest place for you to get married, the easiest and the fastest.
Like people living in Germany, of course, 3 documents, because the city registration, so your proof of address, and the single status, they're combined in one document, which is erweiterte Meldebescheinigung.
And
But
that is accepted fully.
exactly. But if you're from any other country where that is not given, then you have essentially 4 documents that Alina was talking about. So your visa, passport, this single status certificate, and your proof of residence.
Exactly.
So 4.
Yes, right. So for example, if you're from Italy, Poland, Spain, any other country, then you will need 4 documents basically. So that is super easy. Once you have prepared these documents, then then I will apply for you. It takes 5 days to get the approval, and then the marriage appointment can be arranged very quickly, sometimes even within a few days. So sometimes even I had marriages just done in 10 days, like till the time of application and till the time they got married and had the certificate and could do all their registrations with that. And you get the certificate right away, and it is valid in EU, and you can change your visa, do things like that. But I had a lot of couples previously approaching me, for example, the partners back in India and the fiancés in Europe. Then of course it's like a little bit more complicated after the marriage. You still have to go back to apply the family reunion visa. You cannot just get it done in Germany or wherever you are right away. You have to go back. But usually because you got married in Europe, the process gets easier because it's like approved.
It's a European certificate essentially, so
it is accepted basically. And also if you're back in India, getting the single certificate is also not complicated. You can just get the affidavit from the court.
Yeah. So from the district notary or something, just like, get the affidavit and you're pretty much good to go. Mm-hmm. So the process, like essentially to summarize it, it's very, very simple for Denmark. And this is also the reason why Alina and I personally, we got married on the same island where we are having our house, where Alina is running her business. And because the paperwork was just so much simpler. I mean, like, if you want to get married, the paperwork essentially should not be the thing which should be holding you back.
Yeah. And guys, if you have any questions, if you have even the slightest idea of maybe getting married in Denmark, you can just book a free call on my website. I think that's it for the video. This is the process for Germany. Of course, we couldn't share the list of documents because again, they wrote that you have to go personally and get it.
Not even on phone, you have to personally show
up.
up.
They mentioned do not call.
Exactly.
They mentioned to go personally there and inquire. So, but that was just a little explanation from our side, and I do believe if you have a foreign background, then it will be the easiest to get married in Denmark.
Perfect. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. If you know somebody who want to get married and like they're having problems or something, please make sure that you share this video with them, because sometimes you will be the guy who will be able to like make their marriage happen, because otherwise if they would just like, sometimes rely on themselves, finding information like this becomes very difficult. So don't forget to share this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.